Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well and taking good care of yourselves. Today, I want to talk about how to be empathic and emotionally resilient at the same time. Empathy has two aspects: a cognitive aspect, which means understanding the thoughts and feelings of another person, and an emotional aspect. This is mirroring the feelings and body language of another person. To a certain extent, empathy happens automatically, depending on how well we've trained being empathic. It comes along with feeling soft, tender feelings of concern for others that are less fortunate, maybe even feeling protective of them. It can also be described as being soft-hearted towards others, of really understanding another person, of imagining what something may be like for another person. And there are two different types of empathy that come after this automatic empathic response. One of them is called empathic distress, and the other one, empathic concern or compassion. Empathic distress is a form of empathy that comes along with a lot of personal distress. So we're not only seeing someone who is in a lot of pain, but we're also experiencing this pain and distress ourselves. This form of empathy, in the long run, it becomes unbearable and will make us retreat from these kind of situations. In studies, it has been shown to correlate with anxiety, depression, and ultimately a lack of compassion for others. And the big question in this world that is so full of pain and suffering is, how can I protect my ability to feel things deeply and at the same time not burn out? Strategy number one, practice empathic concern. Empathic concern is a form of empathy that has been shown to protect against burnout and strengthen our resilience and health. This form of empathy goes a step further than empathic distress. It adds an element of wanting to help the other person and feeling feelings of love, warmth, kindness, and concern for the other person. So the first initial response of empathy, in which we understand what another person is feeling and feel that, isn't something that we should remain stuck in. And if we practice compassion or empathic concern, we'll be able to add the element of feeling loving kindness towards this person and wishing the person well and wanting to do something to change their suffering. The brains of people who regularly practice this form of compassion and loving kindness, when they're given a tragic story to read, their brains actually show activation in areas that are associated with positive emotions. Also, studies have shown that these people have less of a response of feeling threatened when they see pain and suffering, and that they have a greater responsiveness towards the suffering of another person. This is because if the feelings of kindness and love are the dominant feelings in your heart when you're seeing someone suffer, you're protected by these positive emotions. And it also strengthens you to really take a look at what the other person is actually going through. Also, this kind of empathic response adds an element of hope, because it has this element of wishing another person well and wanting to do something to help them, rather than just seeing the suffering and feeling overwhelmed and threatened by it. Cultivate positive emotions. Research has shown that when we have more positive emotions in our heart, we are protected against feeling a lot of empathic distress. In one study, people who were brought into a sad mood by listening to sad music and reading sentences like, "Life is such a burden, I'm tired of trying, there is no hope," experienced more empathic distress when they saw a video of someone being poked in the cheek with a syringe needle than people who were in a neutral mood by neutral music and sentences that were just facts. So if we have a different emotional backdrop, the same situation will cause us to feel a completely different form of empathy. So make sure that you have a lot of positive emotions in your heart so that you don't fall into deep empathic distress. You can do this by meditating, by regulating the content of your self-talk, and by doing things of which you know that they will cause you to experience positive emotions. Remember that we can't just walk through life hoping for positive emotions. We need to actually schedule things, take time to do things that we know will make us feel positive emotions. And in this way, we can stay engaged with others in the world and remain resilient and healthy ourselves. Strategy number 3, understand and come to peace with your capacity. We all have a certain capacity of expressing empathy. Some people may overestimate it, some may underestimate it, and we need to find our sweet spot. We need to find out how much can I support others without burning out myself. Part of the dynamic of empathy burnout is to repeatedly step over our own limits. And this doesn't only apply to our actual involvement in causes, but also it also applies to how much distressing information we are able to process in a given time. So I suggest that you be very aware of the news channels that you're getting your information from, and to observe how good of a job is this news channel doing in informing you, but not overwhelming your empathy resources. Sometimes if we are pressuring ourselves to be involved in too many causes, it can actually lead to a total inhibition of expressing our empathy. Like there's this beautiful scene in Ever After where Prince Henry says, "I used to think that if I cared about anything, I'd have to care about everything and I'd go stark raving mad. But now I found a purpose and it fills me with the most wonderful freedom." So becoming more conscious of our capacity frees us of being really present in the causes that we do have the energy and time for. Also, we don't always have to be the main driver of something. We may not be the next leader of a country, but we can vote. We may not be a doctor, but we can donate to Doctors Without Borders. Or we can just be kind to the people that are in our immediate surrounding. Empathy is something that is really contagious, and seemingly small acts of empathy can have very large effects on the world. Strategy number 4, realize that empathy is a strength. When we see something as a potential threat in our life, it may actually become a threat through self-fulfilling prophecies. The way we perceive stressors influences if they actually become stressors in a way. So it's important to realize that empathy is a strength. It has been shown to increase our sense of feeling connected towards others. It improves relationships, reduces the chance of conflicts and loneliness. It's been shown to decrease stress and calm down our heart rate, and it can contribute to strengthening our self-esteem. So being an empath, being someone who feels things deeply, is a strength. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll join me again for the next video on this channel, which is all about supporting you in your self-leadership. If you want to stay connected and not miss anything that I upload here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be extra sure that you don't miss anything, then also hit the notification bell. I hope you go out of this video with a feeling of inner strength and knowing that you can be both. You can feel deeply and be strong and not burnt out at the same time. I look forward to being in contact again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.